Okay, Newcastle 2, Burnley 1. If you're looking for optimism or some sort of positivity from that dreadful match, you've come to the wrong place. I give up. I feel deflated watching Burnley now, as we all reach the inevitable, which is relegation. The small positives that I will take from this game is that Jacob Brun-Larsen looked better on the left. In them final moments, it was nice to see Fleming and Marcus Edwards really give it a good go. Some ambition, which we haven't seen pretty much all game. But I'll also say, before I rip into Scott Parker, that some of the individual mistakes we made today were incredibly poor. Ugo Chukwu, I just, a ridiculous handball, absolutely ridiculous. It's really frustrating, and for me, Scott Parker has to go. It's not a debate anymore, and I think anyone who genuinely thinks Scott Parker should stay, give your head a wobble. I genuinely think that. Why are we settling with mediocrity with this manager? Enough is enough. If we want any chance of surviving relegation, which at this point is inevitable pretty much, then he's got to go. He's got to go. And I don't understand this motion of, well, it's, he's not really been backed by the board, and, give him January to get the players he wants. I'm sick to death of hearing that. Like in the summer, he hasn't just got a new striker, hasn't got new wingers, hasn't got new midfielders, both attacking midfielders and defensive midfielders. He's got a new centre back, he's got a new right back, a new left back, a new goalkeeper. That team is his. He's spent that money in the summer. That team is his. Them players are his. So what more does he need? What in January will he get that changes all of this? Because realistically, what it comes down to is how we set up and how we play. And enough is enough. He has to go. I don't want to wait until Fulham. I don't want to wait until whatever future games we have in December. The time is now. And I cannot bear watching Burnley anymore. It's dreadful. It's really, really dreadful. I really don't want to get into a rant. I really don't want to get into to get angry about this, but I just don't know what you can give this manager. And it's incredibly frustrating when he has interviews and he's saying stuff that, we've got a team of fighters, but it just might not be enough. What do you mean it might not be enough? Like, you haven't got them players and brought them in this summer. Like, you haven't worked with this team throughout the entirety of the Championship season and have come into this team and bought the players that you wanted for the Premier League. What do you mean? Like, you haven't spent over 100 million building this team. And why? It's not good enough. I see it as, in fact, Scott Parker, you're clearly not good enough if that's the case. If you have spent 100 million and these players are simply not good enough, that reflects you and that reflects the board. And it's simple as that. It's incredibly frustrating the way we set up, how incredibly passive we are, and just have no ambition. The ambition has gone. I'll give him credit on the fact that he's changed it up. With the decision that was made against Hannibal of the 4-match ban, I like the fact that he didn't just rush Anthony in straight away because Hannibal's not there. And, he's put like Jacob Brun-Larsen on the left, and we've actually seen Brozier start a game. And I think there is glimpses of talent that comes from Brozier, but I think with this setup and with the way he plays as a whole, it just doesn't work. When we get any sort of momentum, or if we end up on the counter, our build-up is so slow and we just throw the ball away because we just do not know what to do with it. And we sit so deep. And it's 0-0, and we sit so deep. Even when we're 2-0 down, it's the 50th minute, and I understand, Lucas Perez has got a red card and we have to play more cautiously. But we still sit so deep when we've got nothing to lose. And for me, I see that as that is a manager that is too scared to embarrass himself rather than go and survive the Premier League. So why should we stick with him? I'm not selling for mediocrity, and that's what we're getting with this manager, and it's incredibly frustrating. And this motion of give him January, give him this, give him that, I think we've gave him enough. I think we've given him enough time, enough resources, and enough is enough. Simple as that. And if you ask me, what manager should we bring in? I don't know. I honestly do not know. But I know that we'll have a better chance with them than we do with Scott Parker. If you genuinely think we have any chance of surviving relegation with Scott Parker, I want to know what you know that I don't. Because I just can't see it. I genuinely cannot see it. It's so unbelievably frustrating. And I'll also say this. I said at the very start of when we got Scott Parker that this, when we hired Scott Parker, it's a waste, because inevitably, if we do end up going to the Premier League, which I appreciate Scott Parker doing very much, it's not an easy feat getting promoted from the Championship. If we do end up going to the Premier League, we'll ultimately fail and go straight back down. And that's what we're seeing right now. And if I see it, and a few others have seen it, and we've all seen what Scott Parker's been like previously in the Prem, the board should have backups ready. The board should have managers or future managers ready in case we do sack Scott Parker. And if we don't let him go, or if we do let him go and we clearly make a rush job of who we get to replace him, I think that's a very, very bad sign. If we don't have any replacements considered for Scott Parker already or even planned in the last year, that's a very bad sign for the board, because it means we're too delusional with managers that we bring in, and we give too much trust to these managers. When Scott Parker goes to the Prem, you know, it wasn't an easy challenge, and I'm not going to make it out like it's an easy challenge. And in terms of the Championship, he did very well with us. Defensively anyway, but there still had to be preparation for Scott Parker to fail, and ultimately he is failing. So I hope that we can see in the next month or next 2 months there's a big change, and that if we are to sack Scott Parker, there is legitimate replacements that have been heavily researched and heavily considered rather than a rush job. It's so deflating watching Burnley now, and I also, you know, Burnley has been in a much worse place. You know, I'm very grateful to have not lived in the eras of when we were in League Two and very close to the National League. But that being said, I still don't think, you know, we should settle for mediocrity. And I think sticking with Scott Parker, sticking with this system and this style of play is settling for mediocrity. I think enough is enough. And his recent interviews is despicable. And it's after today's performance, Crystal Palace's performance, Brentford's performance, and even more recent performance than that, it's just enough is enough. I can't tolerate it anymore. I understand that I've been on a heavy rant in this fan reaction. Sometimes I can't hold back. But I hope you can understand the logistics behind my reasoning for Scott Parker and the team. I think the signings that we made inevitably should have been decent signings, and I still think to an extent that they are decent signings. But what we are doing with these players and how we are setting these players up, we are simply setting them up for failure, and it's not good enough. If you disagree, feel free to put it in the comments. I feel very stubborn on this idea, as you could probably already tell. But yeah, abysmal. Something needs to change, and it needs to change now. Thanks for watching. Take care.